Well, everyone, it's time for us to go ahead and take a look at the iPhone 16 Pro Max and see how this particular phone holds up in 2025. Now, there are some very big things to keep in mind here. Number one, the iPhone 16 Pro Max, it is one of the phones that is one of the best iPhones you can buy as of this point. It just came out, not even a year ago, and it is one of those types of devices that you can go ahead and pick up, and it's going to be giving you a really, really good experience. It still is the best iPhone you can basically go ahead and buy. And I do think, if you're going to go through and pick up a device, this is one of those, awesome types of experiences, one of those best types of devices you can buy. Maybe they're not necessarily perfect, but I do think they're still 100% worth the money, but they are very pricey, very expensive phones. And let's go ahead and see how these particular devices have kind of held up for the last year. It hasn't been quite a year yet, but it's been kind of close. Now, number one, the biggest thing I want to kind of get out of the way is that if you are about to go through and pick up one of these phones, links will be down in the description below where you can go ahead and get these phones from there, and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Like I said before, the biggest thing to kind of remember is that with a device like the iPhone 16 Pro Max, this phone just came out less than a year ago, and on the front side, you're basically getting a massive 6.9-inch LTPO Super Retina XDR OLED display. So this panel on this phone is massive. It really is one of the biggest types of phones you can basically get, and if you are about to go through and pick up a device, this is without a doubt a very, very large type of phone. So I think that right there is kind of a nice thing to basically have, like being able to go through and pick up a phone that's going to be massive. That might be something that a lot of people are into. It's 120 hertz, which that in and of itself is a very nice thing. It's also going to be, really, realistically speaking, it's going to be one of the nicest displays you can also get too. It still is like 2000 nits of peak brightness, which is awesome. And I will tell you, if you are about to go through and pick up a phone from that side, this is a really good performing device in all accounts, basically. Maybe it's not perfect, but it will get the job done for the most part for you. And I do think this is still a really nice looking phone. You're getting the dynamic island. On the bottom, you're getting a USB Type-C port, which is always nice to have. I love USB Type-C, and you're getting that here. Around the sides, you're not getting that reflective side anymore. It's basically just that standard type of aluminum, which still feels very good. And actually, it's titanium. And on the back side, you're getting this frosted glass back, which always looks and feels so amazing. And you're also getting this triple camera setup with a LiDAR sensor. So going through and getting that triple camera setup, getting that LiDAR sensor there, it's actually something that's really nice to have. And I feel like this in and of itself is something that's very, very nice to have in and of itself. It still is a very nice feeling phone. It still feels very expensive. And I will tell you, if you are about to go through and pick up a device, this phone in pretty much every way I can imagine is going to be one of those types of phones that you can go through and buy and get a really good experience with pretty much any device you're going to go ahead and pick up. So with the iPhone 16 Pro Max from that side, I think this is definitely a really good type of experience of a device. And it still is one of the best types of phones you can basically buy. When it comes down to the price tag though, it is also one of the more expensive phones you can buy. Brand new would cost, $11.99 or even more expensive than that. The situation we're in now though is that because it has been out for a minute, you can go through and spend a little bit less money in the used market compared to the brand new market. This thing is basically going to be giving you $1,900 and basically $1,097 price tag in the used market. So if you are trying to go through and pick up a phone that's going to be a little cheaper in the used market, this one does have the option, and that one is going to be a little bit easier to go and pick up. And that one's going to be a little bit easier to go and pick up from that particular side. So in my opinion, if you are kind of looking for a new phone, this one is going to be a little bit, of a more interesting one to go and pick up, because it isn't necessarily going to be the cheapest of the cheapest, and it's going to be still expensive even in the used market. When it comes down to the camera side, this phone is going to be giving you a pretty good type of camera. It's going to be an amazing camera. 48 megapixel wide angle lens, 12 megapixel telephoto lens. You're still getting a 48 megapixel ultra wide camera as well. So this camera, in a majority of ways that you can probably think about, is going to be giving you a very, very good type of experience. And that right there is one of the best things going on for this type of phone when it kind of comes down to it. Because you're going to be able to go through and buy a device that is essentially going to be able to stand the test of time when it comes down to that camera side. And that is something that I think is really awesome to kind of think about, because you're going to be able to go through and pick up a device that is essentially going to be giving you such a solid experience. And I think this in and of itself, it is one of those big things and big areas when you're going through and picking up a device to kind of remember. So I'll probably tell you from that side, the iPhone 16 Pro Max is going to be giving you a very, very good type of experience when it comes down to that camera side. And I think this in and of itself is another one of those really important things to kind of remember. Again, maybe it's not necessarily perfect, but it still is a really good device. And from the camera side, it's the best iPhone camera you can basically get. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there too. On top of that, another very important thing is basically the software longevity. One of the biggest benefits and advantages of buying a brand new iPhone that's still the latest and greatest is that iPhone is probably going to be getting software support for many, many years. And with something like the iPhone 16 Pro Max, this phone is indeed going to be getting software support for a long period of time. So I will say from that particular standpoint, this type of device is going to be, dominating when it comes down to that particular, situation. So I feel like if you are going to go through and pick up a device, this is one of the biggest advantages, is being able to go through and buy a device like an iPhone 16 Pro Max and still get software longevity for many, many years now. So I will tell you from that particular side, that is one of the biggest advantages, and that would be one of the biggest things I would kind of keep my eye out for when I'm going through and buying a phone, because this one is going to be giving me software support for a long time. So from that side too, I think that is one of the biggest things to keep in mind there for the most part as well when you're going through and picking up one of these types of phones. Now, on top of that, another important thing to keep in mind here for the most part too is that with something like the iPhone, 16 Pro Max, this phone's performance is still going to be top tier as well. This phone is going to be giving you such solid performance when it kind of comes down to it. And like I said before, I think if you're going to go through and pick up a device, this is a really big advantage. This phone's performance is going to be very, very good. You're getting the Apple A18 Pro chipset inside of it with 8 gigabytes of RAM. And that right there, I think, is one of the biggest, advantages of going through and buying one of these types of devices, because you're going to be able to go through and buy a phone that is still going to be supported with software for a ton of time. And if you're going to go through and pick up a phone, I think that is going to be one of the biggest advantages. It's going to perform great. It's going to look great. And I will tell you, if you're looking for a brand new phone, like I said before, it doesn't necessarily get that much better than this one, right? It is easily one of the best types of devices you can go and get your hands on. And I think that right there is going to be one of the biggest advantages when you're going to go through and pick up a device. So in my personal opinion, without a doubt, the iPhone 16 Pro Max is pretty much the best iPhone you can basically get your hands on, right? It works great, it performs amazingly, and if you are about to go through and pick up a device, this one is such a solid option, and for one, I'm a massive fan of it. Now, if you are on the market, it might make a little bit more sense to go through and maybe buy, a used iPhone 15 Pro Max or something like that. Like those types of devices might make a little bit more sense to go and buy, but I would imagine that if you're in the market and you're looking for a brand new device, this one for sure definitely still makes a lot of sense to go and buy. But if you want to save some money, like I said before, go ahead and buy an iPhone 15 Pro Max. Go ahead and buy an iPhone 15 Pro if you want a smaller one, or a 16 Pro. But in terms of that, that's kind of how I see this device holding up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.